We're back with the breaking news, horrible breaking news of another shooting, mass shooting in El Paso, Texas. According to the El Paso mayor, who I spoke with just a few moments ago, there are now 3 suspects in custody. The El Paso police confirmed there are multiple, unfortunately, multiple fatalities. No current active shooter, but there's still a very, very active investigation underway right now. Another horrible shooting here in the United States. 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke is a former U.S. congressman from El Paso. He's speaking now on this horrible shooting. Let's listen.
We have just learned a short while ago that there has been a shooting in El Paso. And at this point, the area has still not been cleared. It's still considered active. We know that there's a lot of injury, a lot of suffering in El Paso right now. I'm incredibly saddened, and it is very hard to think about this. But I'll tell you, El Paso is the strongest place in the world. This community is going to come together. I'm going back there right now to be with my family and to be with my hometown. And I want to thank the El Paso Police Department and the first responders. They're there right now. And we're going back to be with them. Spoken to the mayor of El Paso, DeMargo. I've spoken to Congresswoman Escobar. I've spoken to Sheriff Wiles. They are all doing everything that they can. And we're still learning information about this situation. And so I just ask for everyone's strength for El Paso right now. Everyone's resolve to make sure that this does not continue to happen in this country. We'll be sharing more as I learn more going forward. Thank you all for being here today. Thanks.
Very sad situation, totally understandably. Beto O'Rourke, earlier, he said the first thing he did was called his wife to make sure she was all right, spoke with his daughter, and now, as we just heard, he's heading back to El Paso. Clearly, he is shaken by this, and all of us are shaken by this. I want to bring in a witness of the shooting on the phone right now. Specialist Glendon Oakley is joining us. I understand, a specialist, that you were in the Cielo Vista Mall at a sporting goods store. Take us through exactly what happened, what you saw. But before you do so, how are you doing?
I'm fine right now. Just a little shaken up. I'm still here at the moment.
Are you still at the mall?
Yeah, I am.
So tell us what what you saw and heard.
Well, I was in a store. I think it's called Fanatics or something. It's a sports store. I was buying a jersey, and the little kid ran in there and was telling us it's an active shooter in Walmart, but we didn't pay it no attention because, for one, it was just little kids, and then for two, you're at the mall and at Walmart, so how do you know that? So we just didn't pay no mind. So I walked to Foot Locker, and I just heard 2 gunshots, and a whole bunch of people started running around screaming. So they shut the cage of in Foot Locker, and I have my license to carry, and I'm in the military, so when I hear gunshots, we're trained to think fast and grab your weapon, think fast and save, take cover, do anything you can. So a couple guys, they just ran out of Foot Locker, and I'm thinking, I'm the only one with a weapon and that's legally carrying. So I go with them because I can guard them or whatever. But I see a whole bunch of kids just running around without their parents. So I put it up, and the only thing I think of is just pick up as many kids as I can as possible. And there was another guy doing it as well. I don't know where he went to, but there was another Hispanic guy with me. He did as well. And it was just, I could say maybe a total of like 13 kids running around, but I can only get 3. And I think he got about 3 as well, because I was just focused on the kids. I wasn't really worried about myself. So I was, I put my head down and just ran as fast as I could. And once I seen a whole bunch of cops, I dropped them. I told them to go. So I pulled out my phone in case they were going to shoot me. So I pulled out my phone and started recording while I was running. They were just telling me hands up, and I just, I made it out safe. But I wasn't too worried about myself. I was just trying to get those kids out of there because, I was just, it was just so many kids just running around. And I was just thinking about if I had a child, And, you know, if I wasn't around, how I would want another man to react if they see my child running around. So I just thought fast and got as many kids as I could as possible and just made it up.
Specialist Oakley, how long did this incident occur from the time that these young kids came in to that store and told you that there's a shooter until now, basically? How long was the active shooting going on as far as you could tell?
Well, while I was in there buying a jersey. He came in there, and then 2 minutes probably about went by, you know, so I could swipe my card and stuff. And I walked out, and I walked down to Foot Locker. So I'll say, from me making it, from the kid telling me to me hearing gunshots, it was about maybe like a quick 5 to 7 minutes.
By the way, we just heard that 11 people have now been transported to a local hospital,
Yes.
the Del Sol Hospital,
Yes,
in El Paso. I don't know if there's going to be more. Yeah, go ahead.
I was also told that 'cause I'm standing by the some other people, like some cops and some news people. I was told that 18 people were dead and 4 kids are dead as well.
Well, we don't have those numbers. We know multiple victims killed and injured and wounded in this shooting, this mass shooting that was going on, but we don't have any specific numbers yet. We spoke to the mayor just a little while ago, DeMargo, who said that no specific numbers, but multiple fatalities, and he also told us that 3 people are in police custody right now, 3 suspects in police custody. Right. What were the folks saying to you, Specialist Oakley, as you were walking around? Were you walking around in military uniform or just in civilian clothes?
No, I was just in civilian clothes. Like, nobody was really, because the kid was just running around saying it was an active shooter. I don't know how he found out, but the people around the mall weren't really paying him no attention, you know, until gunshots popped off, and then a whole bunch of mall cops were running around with their M4s and stuff, just running around. That's when people, you know, started to run around screaming.
Did you actually hear any gunshots?
Yeah.
You did?
2. You
heard 2 gunshots?
Me and the guy. That I don't know who the other guy was, but we just ended up being right next to each other the whole time. But he heard it as well.
So what did you do? What did you do? So I know you're a military. You're in the U.S. Army. You're a specialist. But what did you do when you heard those gunshots?
Honestly, anybody in the military can tell you, like, it's something you can't explain. Like, I don't even remember. Like, I just remember, you know, just trying to get those kids out, because we're trained to pull your gun out and, you know, take cover or save or shoot whoever's in front of you that's the enemy. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I can't explain. You just have to be in the military to really understand what I was going through that time.
So your objective, your goal, your immediate goal was to help save these kids, as opposed to running toward the incident where the shooting was going on, even though you were armed. Right,
because when I was in Foot Locker, at first I was just thinking for myself, you know, just hide. But when they shut the cages, you can see through the cage, and all you see is just a whole bunch of kids. So, you know, I just thought about getting the kids out the way, man. Anything could happen. The stray bullet can fly by or anything. I just worried about the kids. Once I seen kids, I wasn't too worried about myself.
And so you helped the kids. How were the kids doing?
You know, they were anxious to just jump. Like, when they were in my arms, they were trying to jump out of my arms. But, you know, I'm trying to keep them as tight as possible. Like, they're kids. They don't really understand what's going on. And then at that, I think they were just scared. They weren't by their parents or nothing.
As far as you can tell, you're still at the Cielo Vista Mall right now, Specialist. Is it over? Are people letting you walk around, or are they forcing you to stay put?
At first they were forcing me to stay put, but like I came out on the other side of the mall, so I was just walking to my car, so I had to walk all the way around. So it was just a whole bunch of people just walking. But the Border Patrol was trying to, you know, push everybody back, but I made it to my car. I guess they didn't see me. I made it to my car, and I drove around, and I had just parked, and a couple of news people just walked up to me, and I guess they just asked me some questions and stuff, and I just took an interview and all that other stuff.
Specialist Oakley, is there anything you want to share, anything else you want to share with our viewers here in the United States and around the world?
I just hope those kids are safe, man, and to the parents that if you're looking for your child, I hope I was able to get your child out of there as quick as possible, and I just pray that all the kids and just bystanders that were in the mall and that Walmart just made it out safely. And it's really tragic. I wasn't expecting this to happen. It was just, I was, on a normal day paying bills first of the month. I was just minding my business. This is something that it shocked me. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, nobody was expecting this, but unfortunately, it happens way too often. And Specialist Glendon Oakley, thanks, first of all, for your service to the United States. You're in the U.S. Army. Thanks for what you did today in helping those kids in the face of this mass shooting. We'll stay in close touch with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, roger that.
We're looking at some live pictures coming in from El Paso right now at this mall. The Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, a very busy Saturday afternoon. Folks were shopping, getting ready for the new school year, and all of a sudden a mass shooting occurs. We've just received a statement from Walmart, which was located in this mall, and let me read it. The statement from Walmart, we're in shock over the tragic events at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso. Statement goes on to say they're praying for the victims, the community, and our associates, as well as the first responders, and adds that they're working closely with law enforcement and will provide appropriate updates. We want to stay on top of this horrendous story in El Paso, Texas. Another mass shooting here in the United States, multiple fatalities, multiple victims. We'll be right back. We have more on the breaking news, a very sad update right now on what's going on in El Paso. We can confirm now that 22 people were injured in that mass shooting in El Paso, and that 11 of them have now gone to the local hospital. 3 suspects are in custody. Police say no active shooter remains at the Cielo Vista shopping mall. El Paso's mayor telling CNN there are multiple fatalities. Several people unfortunately have been killed. We don't have a specific number yet. We've been seeing the truly terrifying scenes of panicked shoppers running through stores, employees calmly helping people evacuate while SWAT teams were hunting for the shooters. Keep in mind, many stores were offering back-to-school specials today, just days before El Paso schools were getting ready to reopen after the summer recess. Watch this.
Run, Mija, run.
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Vámonos.
Let's go! Hands up!
Lockdown on Cielo Vista Mall. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go home.
While police are now working to try to gather as much information as possible, they're asking people to try to stay calm.
We're gonna go home, all right? We're gonna try and make that as fast as we can. But we need you guys to remain calm and stay here, okay? Under the shade.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna try and see if we can get water for everybody out here, okay? All right, that's a start. I'll start with that, okay? But you guys gotta help me out and stay back here, okay? All right.
And this just into CNN, President Trump has been briefed on the shooting in El Paso, has spoken with the Attorney General Bill Barr and the Texas Governor Greg Abbott. The governor, by the way, just released a statement saying this, among other things. Today, the El Paso community was struck by a heinous and senseless act of violence. Our hearts go out to the victims of this horrific shooting and to the entire community in this time of loss. While no words can provide the solace needed for those impacted by this event, I ask that all Texans join Cecilia and me in offering our prayers for the victims and their families. The state of Texas and the Department of Public Safety are assisting the El Paso Police Department as they conduct their investigation. We have deployed troopers, special agents, Texas Rangers, tactical teams, and aircraft to the scene in a support role. The state of Texas will do everything it can to ensure justice is delivered to the perpetrators of this heinous act. That from the Texas governor. Governor Abbott just releasing that statement moments ago. And now let's hear from this witness who heard gunshots as she walked into the Walmart. Well, listen to this.
Moment of getting people out, I wasn't really focused on trying to find the shooters, you know.
And you know, you got out. Did you see anyone injured? How were people being taken away? I know there were multiple ambulances, but people were being taken in cars, I heard.
Yeah.
How did it go down on the ground?
To be honest, there was a lot of people trembling over others. Like everybody was just trying to get out all at once. So there was people that would fall. Some of them got hurt. Like I saw one of my coworkers that she actually fell and hurt her ankle, but she was okay. She happened to be okay. But one of my associates, he was actually shot in the hand, so he's in the hospital right now. That's all I know from, but I just hope he's okay, you know.
Do you know if anyone else is still inside the Walmart right now?
Not from my knowledge, I don't know. I'm not sure.
And you know, everyone.
All right, let's go. The authorities are now speaking out. Let's listen in.
Okay, here we go. My name is Sergeant Robert Gomez. I'm a public information officer with the City of El Paso Police Department. Just a tactical brief of what the situation here is. Approximately 10 o'clock this morning, we started receiving 911 calls from the public of an active shooter. Several emergency responses reacted and responded to the mall. The first location was the Walmart at Gateway and Hawkins. We then received several information of possible shooters at Cielo Vista Mall. Initial reports did advise of multiple suspects. At this time, we do have one person in custody. We don't believe there's anybody outstanding, so we are starting to secure the scene, and the scene is starting to become secure. We do have we can confirm there were multiple victims. I can't confirm their status yet, and I can't confirm the numbers. That's all we have right now as far as the active scene. We have established a reunification site for anybody that was in the area and got separated for their loved ones. We're asking them to report to MacArthur Elementary School in order to be reunited with any loved ones that got separated during the chaos. At this time, we are going to be giving tactical briefs as a scene. Like I said earlier, we are transitioning into a homicide scene or a possible homicide scene, and the scene will be secured, locked down, and our criminal investigation will start. Any further tactical briefs will be from this location. Any more confirmed concrete information will come from city leaders from the EEOC, the EOC on Threadgill. That location will be announced, and we'll be able to hear from our city leaders, chief of police, mayor, so forth, with more concrete information. This location will be the tactical brief, giving you updates of where we need people to go, what we need people to do, and the status of the scene itself. At this time, I'll take any questions.
Sir, the mayor said on CNN 3 people have been arrested.
At this time, we have ruled out multiple shooters. It's still active, but as of right now, we have one person in custody.
Was the suspect injured in any way?
I don't have the status of the suspect right now. And
How many have passed away, sir?
I don't have that confirmation. I know we do have injured. I don't know their status or if there's any confirmed killed. As soon as we have that information, we'll provide it, but we don't want to do anything prematurely until we have accurate facts for you.
Is there an active search of
Right now, we're clearing all the location. This is a very large area, including the mall, all the retail areas. We are going through, making sure that anybody that that's sheltered in place, that we get to them. We're also treating any persons that were injured in any form. So this is a large crime scene, a large area. So we are systematically going through it and making sure that anybody in the area, number one, we're ruling out that no one is a suspect, and we're also making sure that those people that were separated or hurt are getting the care that they need.
Were there casualties at both the Walmart and the mall?
I don't have the locations of the casualties. I just know that there are casualties. I don't know the actual locations of
But were
right
there concurrent, you said there were reports of gunfire at both locations?
Yes, there were reports of gunfire in several locations, mainly at Walmart and the Cielo Vista Mall.
Sir, we have been getting reports that Bassett was also evacuated.
We did have initial reports of Bassett Center. I can confirm that those reports were not true. We have confirmed that there is nothing going on related to this incident at Bassett Center.
Are the casualties still inside the Walmart?
I don't know the status of them. I know medical personnel is attending to them. I don't know if they're at the location or if they've been transported. I know there's mixed information on that. As soon as I have an accurate count, I will give it to you.
What about reports of one person arrested on their way to Verizon?
I don't have any reports of a person arrested in Horizon. I do know that we have one person detained and one person in custody right now. I don't have the location of where that person was detained, but as soon as I get that and we have more concrete information, we'll provide it.
Do you know ¿Puedes compartir en español?
Ahorita voy a hablar en español. Déjame hacerlo en inglés primero y lo hago otra vez en español, por favor. One more time. Your question. Initial reports of the weapon was a rifle. I can't confirm that yet, but initial reports was a rifle.
Is it true that it was gang-related terrorism?
We have no information, and we have not put out a concrete response on what the motive for this shooting is. We are working that. Like I said, we are transitioning into the crime scene phase, and we will be developing more information as that becomes available to us and as we learn it, and we can confirm
the scene, sir?
The Paso Police Department has jurisdiction of the city, but we are working with our federal partners. FBI is on scene, DEA, all the federal agencies are here assisting because this is a large area. We do have assistance from the Sheriff's Department, the school district. Pretty much every law enforcement personnel in El Paso is here assisting. El Paso PD will take the lead on it, but we are working closely with our federal partners, our state partners, and all the other law enforcement in this area. You can go ahead.
And that suspect in custody, do we know anything about that person?
No, we're still developing that. As soon as I have concrete information or an identity of that suspect, I will release it.
Do we have a race, age, or sex?
No, I don't have anything. The only thing I have is a male.
There is more than one shooter?
As of right now, we have one person in custody. I don't know the particulars or if there are more than one. There were initial reports of one, but we have one person in custody. That's the only thing. I don't know the ages or the casualty count.
There were shots in the mall?
No, we have one person in custody as of right now.
Did any officers fire their weapon today?
As far as I know, no.
¿Podría dar un baile en español, por
Sí,
favor?
ahorita voy a hacer algo en español. I don't have the condition of any casualties at all, whether they're fatalities or injured. I don't have that as of yet. As soon as that comes available, we will put it out.
You can't say if there's more than one shooter.
I can only say we have one person in custody right now. I can't definitively say there's only one shooter.
There were shots in the city.
There were shots fired. There were shots fired in this area. I can't tell you the location.
Sir,
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I just need to clarify.
Go ahead.
At the beginning of the briefing, you said that police have ruled out other people that are not in custody.
Okay, just to be clear, this thing is fluid and dynamic as of right now. We don't think there's multiple, but that could change. Initial reports where there was multiple. At this second in time, we have one person in custody. We won't rule out multiple until we have a concrete investigation based on all the facts and investigation of the scene. So it can change. As of this moment, we only have one person in custody. We are investigating the crime scene. Should it change, we will give you an update, but as of right now, that's the information that I have.
¿Puede darnos la información en
Okay, in Spanish now. Okay, soy Oficial Gómez, Departamento de Policía, Public Information Officer.
All right, so there you have the latest from Sergeant Robert Gomez of the El Paso Police Department, spokesman for the El Paso Police Department. He's saying one person is in custody. Earlier, we had heard from the mayor of El Paso, DeMargo. There were 3 suspects. He says one. That could change. He says all this information is very preliminary, very early, and as we all know in these types of situations, new information is always coming in. He does confirm multiple victims. He can't confirm how many killed, how many injured, and he does say that the initial reports are that a rifle, some sort of rifle, was used. Local authorities are being assisted by the FBI and other federal authorities as well. We're also told separately at least 22 people have been injured in this shooting incident. 11 of the victims have been transported to the University Medical Center of El Paso, ranging from very severe, most severe conditions to non-life-threatening conditions. We're getting more information from the Del Sol Medical Center as well on that. I want to bring in our law enforcement experts and reporters for some analysis. And Juliet, let me start with you. What do you think based on what we heard from Sergeant Gomez?
I think we just have to make clear that the mayor, when he was on early, just had inaccurate information. That happens. Very important that we follow what the police are telling us. The sergeant we just heard from said one and only one, and that there's only one in custody and therefore only one shooter. That matters because this is going to be a massive investigation, and because he is still alive, meaning there will be a case and an investigation surrounding him and any other accomplices. The second thing is obviously the issue of how does one person shoot that many people that quickly? The police officer talked about a rifle, was not specific. They might still be trying to determine that. That is also going to be relevant because inevitably, you know, how he got hold of it, how old is this person? You know, last week we had a very young white male. You know, what's his nationality, and then of course what's his motivation? So unfortunately, we've already moved from the crisis of people being dead to now, you know, we've got numbers ranging, so I won't say them, but we know that it's definitely more than 10 at this stage. This is a mass casualty event, and we now are moving to a perpetrator or a murderer who is in custody. So that's sort of where we are right now, and just making it clear, one and only one shooter. Previous information from the mayor was just, you know, it was secondhand. That happens. I'm not blaming him, but we just have to make it clear that the police know who's in custody.
And Jonathan, we're getting specific new information on the 22 people who have been injured in this mass shooting. 11 of the victims, we're told now, have been sent to the University Medical Center of El Paso, and separately, 11 others have been sent to the Del Sol Medical Center in El Paso as well. 22 people injured, multiple fatalities. We don't know how many, but those are significant numbers, and our hearts go out to those families. Jonathan, what's your analysis based on what we heard from Sergeant Gomez of the El Paso Police Department?
Listen, I mean, this is a very fluid situation. This is now switching over into a homicide scene. So just think of the sheer size and scope of this crime scene. You know, multiple buildings. You know, the law enforcement will be executing over the next few hours, probably search warrants of the suspects. You know, cars. You know, residences. Anything that they can, you know, get of evidentiary value, they will, you know, try to acquire very quickly. But also, you know, law enforcement has to take pause, and they have to start interviewing victims and witnesses just to understand what they have seen, what they witnessed. This will go to, you know, this is going to be a prosecutorial matter. So preserving anything of evidentiary value is key at this moment in time for law enforcement.
Shimon, what else are you hearing, and what's your analysis of what we heard from the police department spokesman?
I think certainly one of the most important things here is that they do believe there was only one shooter in this incident. Obviously, they're just trying to be cautious here, making sure that there's no one else involved, and that's why they're exercising a lot of caution. You're seeing a lot of heavily armed police and law enforcement, FBI agents, ATF agents, all entering the mall. They're still searching through that mall. They want to make sure they can get everyone out of the mall safely, make sure there's nothing else in there that's dangerous. And really, it's the numbers. It seems like the police and the officials there in El Paso have an idea about how many people have been hurt and killed here, but they're just not ready to release it. I think they're still going through the scene. You can only imagine what this scene must look like from just the sheer panic, people running, and there are bodies, quite frankly, in some of these areas. You know, so, and as the police said, and what we had been hearing was that the initial reports to police was that the shooter went from this Walmart. I don't know what the distance is between the Walmart and the mall, and then he walked over to the mall, went into the mall, and that's where also shots were fired. So there were people injured inside that mall, people taken to hospitals. So the police, you can tell, are still trying to get a handle on exactly how many victims they have, how many people have been killed. And the suspect, who they say is in custody, we don't know what his condition is. And obviously, if he is alive, that is going to give them a lot of clues and significant details on exactly why this happened and what the motivation here was for this shooting, Wolf.
We do know, Shimon, that all of these malls here in the United States do have a lot of closed-circuit video cameras all over the place. So I assume very, very quickly, if not already, authorities are beginning to look at the video.
Yeah, so they are doing that. They were asking for the security, the mall security, the managers of the various shops inside this mall, the manager at the Walmart. They were looking for video, so they were going through the video. There is a lot of video to go through, and there's probably enough video there where they could pinpoint a lot of the moves that the shooter here made, where he went, what he was firing with. We have that initial report that police say that he was using a rifle. So witnesses clearly saw him. Witnesses were able to call police, dial 911, and report him. And then they're going to have that surveillance video, and that's going to be very useful for them. They probably have already looked through most of that video, so they have a really good idea about exactly what transpired here, Wolf.
I assume they do. Everybody stand by. We're hearing from one woman who escaped with her daughter and husband as they were back to school shopping.
Did you guys hear anything, see anything?
Yeah, I heard a lot of yelling. There was cops with guns, and they're saying, "Get on your knees." And then that's when we just went back in the room. We were just scared to death.
How did you guys get out?
They told us to get in the back. We just went out in the back. No, actually, we went in the front. We went in the front, and then they just told us to get in line and not to stop and to keep going.
Who was it? Who's they? Who is it that
The
told
cops.
you?
The cops.
Okay. And what do you? I take it you guys were escorted out.
Yeah, we were escorted. We were escorted out with the cops.
Okay. Who came with you?
My husband, my daughter, and there was these other people too that were with us in the store.
Initially hearing this, that there's an active gun shooter in the store.
Yeah.
What ran through your mind?
It just blew my mind. Like, I never thought that I would be in that situation before. Like, I don't know. It's just a pretty scary situation. I didn't think that, it would happen, but it did.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're doing back to school shopping at the local mall. School is getting ready in the next week or so to resume, and all of a sudden you have to grab your kid. Can't even imagine the horror of this. Grab your child and start running out of the mall and explaining to your child what's going on as you just do regular back to school shopping. Here's more from another eyewitness.
I came for back to school shopping because I needed things for school. And then out of nowhere they started saying that there was a shooting by Walmart, and then there was coming towards over here.
How old are you? I'm curious.
16.
16.
Yes.
When they came and told you get in the room, what ran through your mind?
That what if there's people outside that didn't make it inside? That everyone needs to be safe.
Talk to me a little bit about from beginning to end, from when it first started, when people came out to you and said, "Hey, get in the room, get in the room." Talk to me a little bit about that.
I was in Journeys, looking at shoes, and then the manager, she closed the gate, and my mom asked, what's going on? She's like, "Oh, they just said to close down everything," and then we saw a cop running, and we went through the back. She told us to go to the back, and we waited for 20 to 30 minutes in the back.
This is kind of an obvious question, but when you were being escorted out of the mall, what was that like for you?
It was very triggering, that you can't trust no one. There's crazy people everywhere,
Were you afraid for your life?
Yeah.
What about your moms and your dads?
Oh yeah, 'cause they were everything to me.
Awful, awful. Chris Babcock is joining us right now. Chris is a reporter with the El Paso Herald-Post. Chris, where exactly are you right now? And give us the latest information you're getting.
Yeah, well, thanks much. Actually, one of the things about where the shooting took place, it's literally a half a mile from our studios. So when I first got the call, I drove all the way in from a suburb. We live about 20 miles outside of town, and I followed the convoy of police officers from all over the region streaming to the mall, and got there probably around 10:40. The incident happened right about 10 o'clock. And it's still a very active situation. We've got at least 3 choppers overhead. At this point, it's CBP, BPS, and then another Border Patrol helicopter. I believe it's the DEA chopper that they have. And they're just running circles all around the area. I heard one of your guests earlier was talking about what the size of this crime scene is, and the location, it's East Central El Paso, and this is your typical 1970s mall. It was built in 1974, so it's a 2-story mall, and it's expanded outwards. So on the outside of the mall, you have a Walmart, and then right next to it is a Costco, and the walk from the Walmart to the Costco to the anchor store to get into the mall, it might be 200 yards.
So this is a very popular mall, I take it, and a lot of shopping going on right now for all the kids who are getting ready to go back to school.
Exactly, yeah. At the time it happened, the mall had just opened, and on a Saturday, the entire parking lot will be full. Again, it's the largest shopping center in the region, and we have shoppers that come in from New Mexico and from the state of Chihuahua, right across the border, Juarez and Chihuahua City. And usually they'll start showing up around 9 o'clock, go in the mall, start shopping. And that's where we were. It was just one of those situations where the Walmart was already packed, and the shopping mall, the Cielo Vista Mall, was already starting to get full as well. And, I know that you spoke with the gentleman I spoke with, the specialist Oakley, He was in there, and his story is remarkable. Just like the other people who were coming out, they didn't believe it at first, and then they started hearing shots, and they took off. So a very unexpected situation for us here, but a challenge for the police around this area, because it is. If I had to put a distance on it, the crime scene probably is just shy of a mile long.
Yeah, it's an awful situation. Are folks okay there? What are you seeing from those who have survived, obviously, this mass shooting?
Well, we were out there, and you could tell that the law enforcement was processing people out. As we've unfortunately come to see here in all this video, they isolate the mall. The malls roll down the gates, and then the shoppers come out with their hands up, and they're isolated in different zones. And really, for the entire morning that we were out there, it was they were very much the walking wounded. They had the glazed look on their eye. They were on the phone. They weren't talking much. You could hear conversations muted either way. Yes, I'm okay. He's over there. They're over there. It was a very somber situation. Not necessarily rushed, but you could tell that people were deeply, deeply affected. And now that we're starting to get into the phase of this situation where we're going to hear about how many casualties there are, and again, there's numbers being thrown out on both sides. When that comes out, I think the true scope of this tragedy is going to be it's going to be a gut punch to this community.
It certainly will be. Already is. Chris Babcock of the El Paso Herald-Post. Thanks very much. We will stay in close touch with you. These are live pictures coming in from El Paso at the mall. We're going to take a quick break. Much more on all the breaking news right after this.